Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of At Ping. I've got some questions here, let's hit it. Says, Ping, if my memory serves me right, I do remember magazine articles from back in the mid to late 90s. Race teams used to allow their riders to run the same chassis and many of their components from years past. I also remember hearing about certain riders using, let's say, a 96 KX250 engine in their 97 or 99 bike. Just a random example. Now, we hear all the riders are forced to run current or next year's model, everything, whether they like it or not. Am I correct in my observation? And if so, what has changed? Lee Henshin from Charlotte, North Carolina. Lee, you're kind of right, but there's also something that's a little off in there. Getting spam, sorry. Someone probably called me about my extended car warranty. This has been done, and it still happens where you can run older stuff, most famously probably with McGrath and the 93, 94 Honda frame. He really loved that thing and ran it for multiple years, even though they made adjustments and tweaks. And it still does happen. Sometimes it's swing arms or it's just little parts that give a different feel and the riders like them and prefer them and they go back to them. But couple of rules. One, that part has to be homologated. It has to be from a bike that was homologated and legal to race. And I do think there's a limit on the number of years you can go back. It's quite far. But for safety reasons, they do have a limit to it, I believe. And I'm no rule genius. So like if someone's got the AMA rule book trying to look it up, if I'm wrong, correct me, please. I don't care enough to really dive into it. But here's the reason why you hear more about guys not being able to run something else that they liked better maybe in the past. A great example would be Cooper Webb this year. You can tell he just hasn't really gelled with that bike the way he did last year's bike. And the problem is if he were to run last year's frame or the components that would fix the problems with the feeling he has, you would know it. It looks completely different. That old frame doesn't just kind of pop right into the new one and all the things bolt on. So he would have to run the entire bike from last year. And obviously from a marketing perspective, that's not good for KTM. So that's kind of the issue there. They're trying to sell bikes at the end of the day. And if Cooper Webb's racing last year's bike, that does not look good for their new bike that they're trying to push and promote. So that's the catch and the hiccup that keeps happening that you're seeing. It's still legal to use something from a past year's bike, and I promise you there's a lot of teams doing that on different things for different riders and different reasons. But if they can't make it look like the modern bike, it's a big problem. So anyway, that's it. And even that past gen KTM frame, you remember when they put the bracing on the front under the header pipe there, and some guys didn't like it, and it was a big debacle whether they could go back and use the old one or not. And that's the problem. You can very easily tell if that's there or not there. And so that was where the tension was coming from. So hope that helps, kind of clears that up for you. Thanks for the letter, man. I appreciate it. Next one comes from Tyler. He says, hey, Ping, I often wonder, I watch some of the local pros ride and race locally, and they seem like they're going the fastest you could possibly go on a bike and be in control. Then at a pro national, they can't even come close to qualifying for a pro race. What fills in the gap? It's killing me. From privateer pro to consistent main event guy, what is the difference? It's a great question, Tyler. And it's funny, you know, when I used to do a lot of road trip stories, I would travel to different places around the world and race. And this was after I was retired, but I was still pretty fresh. And I was blown away. I'd go to these places like Puerto Rico, Canada, New Zealand, where you think, the competition's probably not going to be as good or the talent level. And I would get my ass kicked by these guys I'd never heard of, local dudes. I mean, obviously Canada they've always got really fast guys, but you can still see it there where up there, they're dominant. We could send a really good guy up and at his local track up in Canada, he'd kick our ass or he'd be very competitive with our best guys. But you bring him down here and it's a different story. It's very, very different when you're very comfortable in your local environment. You know the track, you know the people. Trying to come and race the pro series, it's just a completely different world. And the mental component is really the difference. It's easy to be confident at a track and a place where you know you're the best or one of the best. When you slide into that gate and right next to Eli Tomac, that makes a big difference up here. Then there's other little things, just little nuances that these guys are doing that maybe you don't see, but they add up to a lot of time. their intensity, corner speed, roll speed through corners, scrubbing, just all of it. And also local tracks and very few tracks are anything like what a pro national track is like. I mean, they are rutted and bumpy. The way the lines develop is completely different at a pro national than it would be a local race. So that takes some getting used to. And then there's these small differences. I would say it's about a 5% difference between your local hero and a top 20 national pro who's making it every week. So not a ton, but that 5% difference is all the things we just discussed. Then from that national pro to, say, a top 10 guy, that's just maybe a 2% difference. A lot of the same things, a lot of it up here. And then even those top 10 guys, the difference between them and the guys on the box every weekend, another 1%. And all of that really is right here. So it's a very mental game. I think we all know that, but it really plays out that way when you start seeing a local pro and just going, how can anybody go faster? Well, those are some of the things that make the difference. Thanks for the letter, Tyler. I appreciate it. Only 2 questions this week because I wanted to share something with you guys. This is going to be my last contribution to VitalMX. I've been here a little over 2 years, and it's been a really great tenure. I've enjoyed my time here. Huge thank you to Brad Resnick, our video guy. I've spent a lot of days at the track with that dude shooting videos, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm proud of the work we've put together, and just a good crew here at Vital. Everyone's good dudes. But they're doing some restructuring and changing the way they're doing things, and it just doesn't quite fit with what I got going on, so that's totally okay. I really just want to thank them for the opportunity here. It's been a fun couple of years, and proud of what we turned out. And for those fans of mine, I'm going to have a new home for all that stuff. That'll be announced very shortly. You can follow me on Instagram or whatever to see that. But you'll be able to catch everything I've ever done and more where I'm headed. So hope I'll see you there. And to the guys on the forum, look, I know it's been maybe a rocky couple years. We didn't always agree on things politically, particularly, but that's okay. I wish you guys all the best. And, you know, we're still a weird moto family, and we all love dirt bikes. We can agree on that one thing, right? So hopefully I'll see you at the track, and nothing but love to all you guys. We'll see you down the road. Cheers.